Captain Paul for the Locker Room here. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. Should the Boston Bruins trade their first round pick? Now, I'm going to be very short and sweet. If it's Chychrun, I'm fine with them moving that first rounder, but if it's anybody else, I'm a little bit leery. This NHL draft coming up has got quite a bit of depth to it, and you could find a viable NHL prospect that could eventually someday be on an NHL roster. Now, I know draft picks aren't always a sure thing, but you can't keep giving up futures and depleting your prospect pool for average to maybe slightly above average NHL players. If you keep doing that, your team will eventually become a bottom feeder. There has been multiple players like Luke Schenn, Gavrikov off of Columbus, and while nothing wrong with those players, are definitely not worth first round value. The one guy in all this, as I've said, that would definitely make sense would be Chychrun. The guy in 36 games played, 7 goals, 21 assists for 28 points, has a positive plus minus. He is only 24 years old. He's got term until 2025 of a cap hit of $4.6 million. Chychrun will eventually want to see an upgrade, but if the Boston Bruins got Chychrun, who can play either side but would most likely be a left defense for the Boston Bruins, I mean, just look at the depth you have. You have Grzelcyk, McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, Forbort, Connor Clifton. You could legitimately slot in Chychrun for somebody maybe like Clifton or Forbort, and man, you are just having a plethora of depth on the D-core. Chychrun is a #1 defenseman, and I would argue McAvoy and Lindholm are already #1 quality type D-men. So if you could have 3 guys that would be #1 D-men on other teams, I mean, you're just making your defensive strength that's already strong even stronger. And that's why I'd be completely fine with dealing a first round pick for a guy like Chychrun, because he's got some term left on his contract. He's not a UFA at the end of the season, and he's an extremely good player. Let's just be very blunt here. The Jacob Zorba experiment has not worked. It's been a train wreck. He's barely gotten into games, and when he has gotten into games, he has just not really looked good, and he's 26 years old. You could get a guy like Chychrun in here at the age of 24, move off of that project, and stay young at this D-core. The one thing that could hold the Boston Bruins back is health, and this isn't really a complete knock on Carlo, but Carlo is susceptible to getting injuries, and with a concussion history like himself, I mean, just one wrong hit could take him out for the rest of the season. So I think it's imperative the Boston Bruins do get a guy like Chychrun that can play either side as a high quality defender. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are down below. Do you believe, like me, they should only trade their first round pick for a guy like Chychrun, or should they just splash and get a good depth defenseman regardless of the price? I'm Captain Paul for the Locker Room, and I'll see you in the next video.